Did you know that on December 17, 1959, a team of CIA agents kidnapped and examined a Soviet Luna 2 space probe while it is touring a part of the International Science Exhibition? The entire operation takes place at night within a facility that was rented for this purpose. The spies discover that the Luna's engine had been removed before going on to the exhibit, but they observe other details before returning the spacecraft the next morning. Why did the CIA kidnap this Cold War spacecraft? Rather, how did they kidnap a spacecraft? Let's look at these aspects in today's video.
The Soviet Union made it clear that the intent was to enhance its image as a technical, scientific, and military power. In the mid-1960s, the Soviets expanded the objectives of their space program by launching new types of satellites with practical military and economic applications.
Sometime between the end of 1959 and 1960, the Soviet Union toured several countries with an exhibit of its industrial and economic achievements. Among the artifacts were a Sputnik and a Lunik upper stage that contained the payload. At first glance, many in the CIA assumed the touring Lunik was just a model. But some analysts suspected that the Soviets might be sufficiently proud of the spacecraft to bring the real one on the tour. These suspicions were then confirmed when CIA intelligence agents managed to gain unrestricted access to the spacecraft one night after the exhibit closed. They realized it wasn't a model. It was a real production. And the agents observed what they could in 24 hours, but desperately wanted a better look. They wanted to get inside the Lunik. Well, this was easier said than done. The Lunik was heavily guarded, so examining it before or after the exhibit closed was ruled out. But the Lunik did move around, which meant that it could be borrowed during the transport chain if there was a weak link. And there was. The spacecraft, as well as every other piece of the exhibit, was transported in a crate by a truck to a rail yard where it was then loaded onto a train and moved to the next city. At the rail yard, a guard took note of each incoming crate. What this guard didn't have was a list of cargo and expected delivery time for each crate. The CIA hatched a plan to steal the Lunik for a night and get it into the train station by the morning for its journey to the next city. The team of CIA agents put their plan into action. They arranged for the Lunik to be the last truckload carried out of the exhibit hall. It did, and trailing it were the CIA agents in plain clothes, disguised as locals out of an expected Soviet escort. But more Soviet guards never materialized. With the coast clear, the CIA stopped the truck at the last possible turn and a canvas was thrown over the crate and a new driver took over. What happened to the original truck driver? The CIA history only says that he was escorted to a hotel room and kept there for the night. How he was detained isn't clear, but it wouldn't be surprising if money, liquor, or women were involved. Fortunately, the Soviet representative at the rail yard waited a little while and then went to his hotel room without raising an alarm. Now, the CIA technicians got to work. Standing on ladders, they broke into the 14-foot high crate, partially disassembled the spacecraft, including removing 130 bolts from a hatch to the engine compartment, and photographed the insides. The work began at 7:30 p.m. and at 5 a.m. Luna was back on the truck and the original driver delivered it to the rail yard. When the Soviet representative returned at 7, that morning he found the truck and the spacecraft waiting for him. What did this covert operation obtain? Analysis of these factory markings revealed the probable identification of the Luna stage. The fact that it was the sixth one produced an identification of 3 electrical producers who supplied the components, as well as the other clues for the Soviet space program. The analysis wasn't to copy the design. It was to assess the fabrication technology, that is alloys, electronics, fuels, etc., which also went into the military missiles and the warheads for the same factories, to provide reliable estimates of how powerful the intercontinental ballistic missiles warheads might be. This information helped the national leadership and heads of NASA set goals and shape timelines that would help the Americans match and ultimately overtake the Soviet Union in space. Thanks for watching.